Everybody, what's going on? Great morning, great morning. I forgot to do our opening. You tried to remind me.
Yes, and you weren't listening.
Okay, I was not listening. So guys, guess what? Stand by. I got to do our opening because Cherie reminded me that I just wasn't listening. Here we go.
Welcome,
everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks.
We're super excited, guys. Listen, for those of y'all who are just chiming in, we're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. We just want to welcome everybody to our channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Click the link, subscribe, ring the bell.
Yes, ring
you
the
can
bell.
Ring my bell.
And please share this out. Our goal, folks, we're going to ask you to help us with our goal. Our goal is to reach 500 subscribers by the end of this year. So please share this out to your friends, share it out to your family.
Yes.
Ask them to please subscribe and join. And as he stated, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and ring the bell so that you can be
notified when we get videos, when we update, when we're going to go live. Mashawn is in the room. Good to see you, sis. Dana, good to see you. Good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. Guys, today is going to be really good. I want every single person, everyone who's dating, anybody who's engaged needs to be listening to this. We're going to talk about some things I think that's really going to change the game. The question is, how do you pick a partner permanently? How do you pick a partner permanently? What's going on, guys? Good morning. Listen,
good morning.
I want to let you guys know, for those of you guys who are trying to figure out how is it that these married people can even think about talking to us as singles and helping us out. Well, I thought that for a long time.
We were single once.
Well, not only were we single once, but one of the things that we are trying to be super clear on is that we want to help singles who want to get married do it different. Do it better.
Right, because the person that you choose to get married to, there's a lot of thought and a lot of consideration needs to go into that versus somebody if you're just casually dating.
Yep.
And so there are a lot of things that unfortunately a lot of people don't think about or don't talk about before they get married. They meet somebody, they click, they may be attracted to each other. But there are some deep issues that they never talk about that are going to come up in marriage.
Yep, 100%.
I can promise you they're going to come up in marriage.
100%.
But if you never address those issues before you get married, you don't know if you guys are on the same page. You don't know if there's going to be major conflict. You don't know if you guys share the same values.
Yep.
And so there are things that you need to have, conversations you need to have, things you need to look for based on your personality, based on your desires, based on where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Things you need to look for in that person before you say I do. And so it's not just because he cute or he fine.
Right.
He's so fine.
Right.
He's so fine.
He makes six figures, girl.
He could be crazy.
Hey, right. Him and his 6, 7, 8 figure self.
His whole family could be crazy.
Right. And you signing up for that for the rest of your life.
Or he could have some major trauma from things that he's experienced in the past that he hasn't healed from.
Right.
Or he could just have a very skewed viewpoint on parenting, on life, on marriage. You might get married and then this joker talking about, I want to have sister wives.
Right. Lord Jesus. Listen, not only for the men, but also the same is true for the ladies. You just don't know what you are signing up for until you do the deep work that you need to do. Now, here's what I want to do. We don't have a lot of time this morning, but I do want to cram some things in to make sure that you guys know. First of all, what we're going to talk about, we're going to continue this next week, I'm sure. We're just going to lay some groundwork. When we talk about how to pick a partner permanently, there are some things that you guys need to really, really be aware of. But before we go there, Cherie, I did some research and I asked some singles. Well, I did some research to find out why singles don't, what do they dislike about dating?
Right.
What do they dislike about dating? What do they dislike about going out with people and, going on a date? And if you are someone who's dating or you've gone out on some dates and I'm not talking about the single sister who, you sitting home and you ain't interested. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to the single brother that's building his career, that's not interested in getting in a relationship. We're not talking to you this morning. I'm talking to people who you are absolutely interested in taking your relationship to the next level, interested in getting married as a single person, and I want to know what have some of your struggles with dating been? What don't you like? And I'm going to share some stuff that I have found out. What's going on, these Sweet Pea? What's up?
Good morning.
What's going on, Jermaine? Good to see you guys jumping in.
I can't see with my glasses on.
Right. So if Cherie starts straining or moving into the screen, it's not because she's trying to be funny. She's
trying to come in with you guys.
She's trying to
join
she's
you.
trying to see.
No.
So Jermaine, thanks guys. Listen, if you're on
Good morning.
Instagram, do me a favor, click the arrow at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and share this out. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. Share this out, tag somebody, and go from there. Real quick before we continue, babe, for those that are just jumping in the room, what you may not know is that Sheree and I are relationship coaches. We have been married for quite a while.
It'll be 21 years in January.
21 long. Yeah. 21 years in a row come January. We both were married prior to each other.
Yes.
I was married once for 12 years.
And I was married twice.
So we get it. We understand how it looks. We understand the whole process. And we know what it's like to do it wrong, screw it up royally, and what it looks like to do it right and be able to navigate our way through that process. So that's what kind of qualifies us to kind of sit and talk in this space. We've authored 7 books between the two of us. We also created an online relationship academy called MAPS, Marriages and Parenting Successfully, of which we would love for you to come and see if you want to be a part of that. It is an environment where we actually bring people in and we do group coaching for couples. We have a night specifically for parents. We have a time specifically for singles who want to get married.
And we also have individual groups for men only and for women only, where you get to come in for some personal development, where it's just a closed room. Just the men come together. They get to talk, real talk, in a room with just the men. And the ladies do the same in a room where they get to share things they're going through just in the confines of their ladies, so you don't have to worry about your husbands or your significant other. Because you get to actually talk about it and get input from other women.
No doubt. I think that's Diane on there, Mother of Kings 42. What's up, girl?
Hey,
it's been a long time on Instagram. What's happening? I think that's you. If I'm right, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Let me. People on Instagram, y'all be killing me. Y'all don't be giving up no government names. Is that a
government? No government names.
Don't tell me. Look, ain't nobody giving up no government names. Like we got to be incognito over here now. So listen, guys. Let's get into this content really quickly. We're going to give you 3 or 4 things that we've done to be able to build the relationship that we've always wanted.
Let's go back real quick.
But before we do that, we're going to go over what people think, how people are feeling, some of the woes that people have when it comes to single. So Maria, 41 years old, says this. She says, I'm not a fan of online or app dating. I haven't had great experiences with it. I don't have issues meeting men or dating. The issue is finding a man who wants the same type of relationship I want, which is somewhat traditional. A few have said that they are on the same page as me in the beginning, but after 4 to 6 months, they seem to change their tune. In my opinion, since there's so much choice out there, especially with online dating, men don't seem to put up much emphasis on building a monogamous relationship. I'm sure some men may say this is about as women as well. So this is one of the challenges that Maria, she's 41 years old. She's had, do me a favor, read what Zoe, she's 28. And so this is what she's having to say.
So basically she said, I don't like feeling disposable. The fact that everyone seems to hate modern dating apps, but there seems to be no other way. It's like the way we date has become a necessary evil. Even so, if something isn't perfect about a person, we just get right back online without considering giving it a chance. It feels like a disposable mindset.
Wow.
So it's like there's a return policy.
If it don't work, take it back.
Right. You take it home, like,
take it back.
I don't like that.
Right.
You don't even give the relationship a chance to get to know each other. And sometimes there are red flags at the beginning.
Yeah, no question.
But I think that what she's talking about is that, it can be a slight, you have a disagreement and the person is just like, I'm not dealing with this. Instead of you guys working through the disagreement, I'm going to give you this as a bonus tip. If you are planning to get married, if you ever do get married, and for those of you that are married, you'll agree with me, disagreements are part of marriage.
It's healthy, actually.
And so if you don't learn how to handle conflict with the person that you're in a relationship with, you're going to have a problem.
A big problem.
So it's better to be able to do that actually while you're dating.
Yep.
So you guys can see how do you handle conflict.
Yep. No doubt. I'm going to read one more and then we're going to jump into this content. It's from Jordan. He says, the thing is our parents could have had the same experiences when they were dating, but there was no internet to stalk. And he says by the way, he prefaces all this says, I don't like knowing it all. That's the title of
too much information.
He doesn't like knowing everything. So it says But the thing is, our parents could have had these same experiences when they were dating, but there was no internet to stalk, no app notifications to light up on our phones, and no way to misread text messages because you had to speak on the phone. I think a lot of things get lost in translation when we're all hyper connected all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the mystery.
I agree.
So I want to know from you guys, what are some things that you have found that you do not like about dating, particularly in this modern world, particularly in 2019? And why is this important? On October the 11th and 12th of next month, man, it's almost October already.
Yeah,
I was going to say this month, but it's still September. October 11th and 12th, we're going to be doing a live workshop here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. It's called The Road to I Do. It's a weekend that you will never forget. It is a pre, as my wife would say, marriage intensive.
And what we mean by that is this is for individuals who are single, who are dating, or are engaged, who want to one day get married. So if you're single, but you desire to one day get married.
You don't have to have a person at the moment.
You ain't got no boo, you ain't got no significant other right now, but you want to be prepared for when that time does come, if and when that time's come, this is for you. If you are dating, even if the person you're dating, the relationship hasn't got to the point where you would say that it's serious, this is where you want to be because you want to learn some of the things that you need to be looking for, some of the questions you need to be asking so that the relationship will go to the next level.
Yep.
Or you can determine if it's going to go to the next level. And definitely, if you are engaged, if you got the date set, even if you don't have a date set yet, but you done made the proposal.
You looking at dresses.
You looking at dresses.
You looking at rings.
You want to come to this event because we're going to help you have some of those conversations that people often skirt over, and no shade at other coaches or premarital courses, but oftentimes there are certain subjects that don't get addressed in those sessions. Just because of depending, like if you're going to the church for premarital, there are certain things that aren't going to get discussed.
Yeah, you kind of just pray. Let's just kind of pray over you and believe God
you're supposed to be together.
That everything is going to go work. And we are proponents, and guys, you have to understand, because we both were married prior, we also understand, and for me in particular, having gone that route, growing up in church and not knowing about, that there was some serious pre-work. My friend George Hawkins just did an entire series of devotions last week called The Pre-Work.
Right.
There's a pre-work that needs to be done before you get married, that if you don't do it, it will show up in your marriage.
Right. And often, and like
the fact that you didn't do it.
Right. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade on nobody, but often realistically what happens is when you go through a lot of times premarital counseling or coaching, they don't have the time.
Yeah.
To delve into a lot of things. And so they have like 8 bullet points that they got to stick to, and they can only stick to those. And so we talk about, because we both have been married before, have had failed marriages, we know everything to do wrong in a marriage. And so there are certain things, there are certain signs, certain things, certain conversations that we both know from our own personal experience and also from other couples that we've coached over the years, the hundreds of couples that we've coached. There are certain conversations that had they had those conversations before, they would have avoided so many their problems. Relationship may have been able to succeed, or they may have realized this ain't the person I'm supposed to be with. Yeah. And so we like to talk about some of those tough conversations so that you can have that before you get married. And just so that you guys know, it's going to be fun, interactive. Friday night, we're going to do a meet and greet. We're going to have a social time together. We're going to be down at the waterfront in Norfolk, or Waterside District in Norfolk. Really nice food. Weather's hopefully will be really super brilliant. Even if it's not, they got a great indoor facility. Live music, the whole nine. So we're going to get a chance to meet and hang out and enjoy each other. And then the next day, we're going to grind. We're going to talk about communication, how that's the crux and the foundation. We're going to teach you how to communicate according to your personality. There are some people that show up with certain personality styles that causes them to communicate a certain way. And what many people do in relationships, they find themselves spending a ton of energy trying to change how a person communicates, as opposed to trying to learn what language they are speaking so that they can learn how to communicate better with them. I promise you, if you meet somebody from Spain and they speak Spanish, you're not going to reverse that. You're not going to undo that. You may be able to teach them a second language, but you're not going to take away their Spanish heritage, if that makes any sense. And so that will always be their native language.
Relationships are similar. There's a native language that I speak based on my personality.
Right.
And you're not going to change that. But what you can do is you can learn to understand it,
right,
and then speak the language that I speak in order to connect me, and the vice versa.
Right, and I don't have to necessarily become fluent in that language, but I have to learn how to speak it enough to be able to communicate with you.
And that's really it. So we're going to teach you guys things like that. So it's going to be highly interactive, a lot of fun, but we're going to talk about some deep issues, things that you know. People are going to leave out of there with a blueprint. You're going to leave out of there with a game plan, and you're going to know what to do before the problems happen. We've got a couple coming in who's going to help you drill down on the hard stuff that people go through that normally breaks them up. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what that could look like to navigate through it before it happens. Because in most cases, many people will run into the things necessary to bust you up. Mm-hmm. The problem is you ain't did no pre-work on how to figure that out before it happens. And now it's like the doctor just said out of the blue, you got stage 4 cancer. Like, what you gonna do with that?
Right.
Like, you didn't get a chance to catch it on the front end. And so the likelihood of fixing it is a lot slimmer. So let's get into this content real quick. Last week I did a live, babe. And good to see you, Linwood. Good to see you, Michonne. Good to see you, Deborah. So, Deborah, we're going to come back to, and I want you guys to put in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Any bad, or not bad, any experiences dating, good, bad, or indifferent. What do you like about dating today? What don't you like? We're going to go back, look at the comments. And one of the things we're going to do as we go forward next week, we're going to talk about people-specific issues and try and help you navigate through that. Because today we want to talk about how do you pick the person that you want to be with permanently. Mm-hmm. When you and I met understanding that we had picked wrong in the past.
Right. And I think that we both, because of our past failed relationships, because of the things that we had been through, we were both in a state of self-discovery where we were examining ourselves. And I think one thing that people often do, the biggest mistake people do, is you come out of a bad relationship or a failed relationship, or even not being in a relationship, and you point the finger at the other person, and you don't take the time to look at yourself and say, okay, these are the things about me that I need to change. But in doing that, you're able to recognize what it is that you need. What is it that you really need to be looking for in this person? Yeah. What are the things that you realize, getting with a person that's like this, that doesn't mesh with you. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so it takes some time to really look at that to be able to determine.
But what I hear you saying, that's based upon who you are. Mm-hmm. It's not based upon who they are. Most people pick people based on who they are.
Right.
I need y'all to hear this. By the way, before I get into that, Dana just said something that reminded me. I didn't tell y'all. Go to the website, thecrcoach.com, and you can learn more.
thecrcoach.com.
I put it in the chat here. I put it up on YouTube. Do me a favor, somebody. Put it in the chat on IG, www.thecrcoach.com. And that's where you can find out more information about this workshop that we're doing next week. So enough of that. So, babe, I was saying that most people go into relationships picking people based on who that person is.
Right.
And here's the problem with that. The problem is that A, you don't really know them yet. B, you don't understand how they became who they are. C, you have no idea some of the things that they value. So at their core level, you don't know what moves them and what drives them. I appreciate that for putting that in the chat on IG. But the challenge is that it can change. Mm-hmm. Here's what I do understand. When I know me and I can be super in touch with me, it helps me to decide what I need. Mm-hmm. So that it can override what I want. Mm-mm. I need y'all to let that breathe for a hot second.
It's like the kid that want candy.
But what they need is dinner. See, y'all looking for a snack.
And you need a meal.
You need a whole meal.
You need a whole meal. Come on now. That's what you need.
That's what you need up in your life, Instagram. You understand what I'm saying? So you looking for a little appetizer.
You need a whole meal.
You need an entree.
You need the whole 5-course.
Come on,
you need the whole 5-course meal.
I'm gonna need that dessert when that. Sometimes you might have to bring that out first. But listen, I'm being totally crazy. But what I need y'all to understand, I'm so serious.
Right.
The problem is, Cherie, is that I did not pick you based on you.
Right. Right.
I picked you based on what I needed.
Right. Right.
So therefore, when we started building together, it made sense.
Right.
Because at that particular point, there was a need that I had in terms of the kind of person that I needed to be with, as opposed to the kind of person I wanted to be with. And we always tell people laugh, but I wasn't attracted to you.
Right.
In the beginning.
Right, and I wasn't attracted to you in the beginning either. And I think for us, I'll speak for me. I was at a point in my life, I realized that the relationships I had before, that they were not a good fit for me. But because I focused on superficial things, because I focused on attraction alone, that is how I got in those relationships. And so I realized the components that were missing in those relationships. And that was what I looked for. And for me, the number one component was friendship.
Yeah.
I didn't have a solid friendship with either of my previous husbands. And also a level of transparency, a level of just being of honesty.
Yeah.
That, I could express myself, they could express themselves, wouldn't take it personal. And so that was what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a person. I was looking for those things. I was looking for a friendship. I was looking for a person that I could just build a friendship with.
Correct.
And that we could be honest with each other.
Correct.
Without all that other stuff. And
correct.
That's how, we were friends for almost a year.
Yeah.
Before we actually started dating.
Real quick, babe, we got 3 things. If you're ready for these 3 things, these are 3 things that Cherie and I did in order to build the relationship that we always wanted. I go back to say, baby, we're not perfect, but we're winning.
Right.
And when I say the relationship that we wanted, it's not the perfect relationship because there are no such thing.
Right.
Right. However, it is highly functional. It's highly pliable. It's highly authentic. It's malleable. It's something that moves. It's organic. It's real. And I think that unfortunately in the past, I have always majored on this trophy person or this trophy relationship because I was always concerned about what other people thought. So I always wanted to have something that other people would ooh and ah over and say, oh my goodness, look at what Glenn's doing. And that was not the game. And so number one, and I see some people already starting to put some readies in the chat. Number one, guys, I want you to understand is that and I want y'all to hear this. I did this last week, but I want your perspective on it. We grew up. Put that in the chat. You listen to IG, if you're looking at us on Instagram, put that in the chat. Number one, we grew up.
Right.
Emotionally.
Right.
And I think that lends to what you were just saying before.
Right. And so in growing up emotionally is that now you're not caught up in the superficial things. As kids, you want the things that's shiny. You want the things that, what everybody else has. But with maturity, with emotional maturity, you're able to look at things from a different perspective and realize, okay, I may like that, but that's not really what I need.
Right.
So there's a level of emotional maturity that you have to have that's going to help you to push past
1000%.
that initial attraction and realize, okay, there needs to be more to this than just that.
Correct.
And you're able to look at that. But in immaturity, oftentimes we get caught up in that he fine or that she cute or, these superficial things that don't really matter. Because the truth of the matter is the superficial is going to fade. They could be fine today, 10 years from now.
You better say that.
They gain
Fellas.
20, 40,
Come on
pounds. Now. They ain't the same. Or,
or lose 20,
40, 50
pounds. Not,
right. Or they may be making, they got the Mercedes, they got the house, they got the job, all this, and the market
They were making 6 figures when you met them.
Then they decided to go into ministry.
Full time. And took a 70% pay cut. Or,
they decide they want to make a career change.
That's real.
And so they go from making what they were making, all this superficial stuff, and then they don't have it. No, they're a football player. They play in the NFL. They get injured. Now they lose all of it.
So what are you going to do? And
if your attraction is just this superficial stuff, when that's gone, what do you have?
You don't have anything. And what happens with most people, they'll trade in the relationship. We're going to move on. But number one, we said we grew up emotionally. And Cherie, last thing I'm going to say about that is that the emotional intelligence of a relationship will directly determine the strength of that relationship.
Right.
there are a few fundamental, I call them the prongs that hold up, or the pillars that hold up the building of your relationship. One of them is emotional intelligence. Another one is communication.
Mm-hmm.
Without these components, your relationship is faulty at best. And the problem is, unless you do the work of increasing your EQ, which we call the emotional quotient, you won't grow. And that work is something that you specifically do. That's something that we're taking all of our communities through now in MAPS, in the MAPS community, taking them through a book, dealing with this, having them take the assessment, figuring out what your scores are. How do you create a game plan to grow them? All of that work serves as a benefit in order to be able to grow your relationship. Number two, if you're ready for number two, put a number two in the chat. Here's what I want you to know. We invested.
Mm-hmm.
We invested, but we invested in each other.
Mm-hmm.
We invested in each other. And so what investment in Cherie looks like, a lot of people, I put it out yesterday, I think the day before on Facebook. I said, what do you want in a if you're single and you want to get married, what qualities do you want in a marriage or something like that?
And your mate.
And your mate. And a lot of people put things like, I want them to be supportive. What you're really saying is that I want them to invest in me.
Mm-hmm.
Investment looks like something. In an emotional investment, it looks like I can be quiet and sit still and just listen.
Right.
When she is wanting to talk, or when she is feeling, quote, some type of way. We're not allowed to say some type of way in the MAPS community because we teach people to actually have words
right.
to explain how you feel. But for the for illustration purposes, I'll say that. But I have had to practice and learn and develop and grow, because that's not natural for my temperament to invest in people that way.
Right. And basically what being able to invest in the other person is being able to consider that other person, preferring to them, or being able, you want to be in a relationship with a person that is willing to prefer you, to put you before themselves.
Yes.
It's going to consider you in what they're doing, decisions they make. If they are not doing that in the dating process, they're not going to do it when you
I promise you. Guys, Cherie got a little bothered with me this morning because I didn't make her a cup of coffee. Right?
He wasn't considering me.
I was not considering her. Let me tell y'all why that's funny now. Because probably for the first 5-6 years of our marriage, that was a point of contention for us. Mm-hmm. Not the coffee, but me considering.
Yeah, he would do little things like we would go to the gas station.
Lord Jesus, you gonna tell it?
Me, the kids, we
almost out of time. We can.
Okay, we gonna real quick. We'll be in the car.
She gonna tell it.
He stop at
anyway.
the gas station. He gonna go in and go pay for the gas. It's like, okay, he gonna go and pay for. He
Fellas,
come out with a bag.
Fellas, don't do this, fellas. Don't do this.
He come out with a bag. He done got chips, water for him. He ain't think about nobody. It's 3 other people sitting in the car.
Just selfish.
Just selfish.
Selfish.
Ain't think about nobody.
Trifling. And that's because I was extremely self-centered, extremely selfish, and I did not know how to empathize.
But you're so much better now.
Thank you.
I'm so proud.
Have I gotten a little bit better?
Yes.
You rolled your eyes on that just a little teeny
No,
bit.
you've gotten a lot better.
Okay, I just wanted, because I need to.
My eyes are fluttering, but it's not.
Okay. No, and the reason why I asked is not so she can flatter me, but because if I'm screwing up, I need to know.
No.
Because I want to change. That's what investing looks like. When you're dealing with a person who wants to know.
Right.
When you're dealing with a person, I used to tell you all the time, babe, do me a favor. When I do those things, say something in the moment. Let me know right then. You're doing it again.
Right.
So that I could put 2 and 2 together. It's like, okay, I'm not calling myself a dog, but it's like the puppy who pees and don't realize that you're supposed to go outside and pee.
Right, you wait till an hour later to punish them. They don't remember what they did.
Why are you hitting me?
You come home from work, they done peed.
And now you're going to beat them.
They don't know what you beat them for.
They don't know what you beat them for. So now you have to take them to the pee stain, make them smell it, help them understand. You get what I'm saying, guys? So it becomes a serious thing. So number 2 is that we invest in each other. And number 3 is, and we've been talking about it all day today, really. We develop the ability to speak truth to each other.
In love.
But in love.
Yes. And I think that is essential. I think a lot of times when people are in relationships, when they're dating, when they're courting, when they're engaged, you're afraid. To be honest, you're afraid to tell the person the truth about certain things that you dislike because you're scared that if I tell them this, they're going to leave. Or they're not going to like me. Or they're going to be mad at me. If you cannot speak truth to that person about something, when they do something that bothers you, or they do something that you feel is disrespectful, or there's something about them that you don't like, if you can't speak truth to them and let them know that in love, I'm not saying you slicing and dicing a person,
Ooh-wee.
but you
no
tell them,
slicing and
hey,
dicing,
you know, I realize when you do this, it makes me feel this way. I really don't like when you do that. You know, when we're out with your friends, you talk over me, or you don't. When we go out and you run into somebody and you don't introduce me to them, it makes me feel like maybe you're ashamed of me, or that, you know, am I confused about where our relationship is? But what will happen typically is you won't say anything because you're scared if I say something, they're gonna think I'm being needy. They're gonna think I'm being this. They're gonna think I'm being extra.
Whatever the word is.
You're clarifying if something bothers you, you have a right, and you owe them
absolutely
to let them know, because to be honest, in most cases, the person doesn't even realize what they're doing is bothering
because they're not you focused,
right? They don't think like you, because it may not be something that bothers them,
right? If
you do it to them, but if it bothers you, you owe it to that person to let them know, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel some kind of way.
Right. We don't use that word in the maths community, but I understand that. But one of the things I need people to understand, and we're just about out of time, guys. One of the things I need y'all to understand, the reason why you owe that to them is because, let me tell you something about love. Love gives. Now, the truth of the matter is that if Cherie does something that bothers me or hurts my feelings, and I don't speak truth to that in love, but I speak truth. You hurt my feelings, and I don't like it when you do this, and this lesson, you ain't going to be talking to me in your kind of way. What I'm really saying is I'm hurt. I mean, I ain't going to be no more of these, and you fill in the blank, whatever words they use. I mean, y'all get real colorful with your disagreements and with your arguments. And I'm just done with this. I'm done with this. I'm tired of being mistreated. That's what you're ranting, and you're going on and on. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be angry. I'm not saying that you should not vent. I'm not saying that you should not share. But here's the problem. When you only share in moments of venting, frustration, and anger, you are not communicating.
Right.
You're simply talking.
Right.
And there's a difference. Guys, please hear me. What your goal really is for them to stop that behavior. That's the goal.
Right.
Let's just be dead honest.
Right.
You don't want a divorce. You just don't want to be in pain.
Right. Right. I almost want to keep stepping on my toes.
You don't not love this person. Right. You just want them to treat you appropriately, right? So let's get on some, how do we get that?
Right.
The way we get that is we learn how to speak truth in love. And one of the things we teach people in the MAPS community all the time is how to put up healthy boundaries.
Right.
How to put up healthy boundaries and enforce them so that it causes people to do one or two things. I need y'all to hear this. To get right
or get out.
I need y'all to hear this. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying right now. When you put up a healthy boundary, here's how you know a healthy boundary is healthy and it's legit and it does what it's designed to do. It will cause a person to either get right or get out. You ain't got to decide that. Because if my boundary is right, it's healthy enough, and the consequences cost you, not me, it's going to cause you to make a decision.
Right.
And I don't have to rant, rave, fuss. I ain't got to scream, threaten, cuss you out. I ain't got to do none of that.
Nope.
I'm saying, hey, here's the line. I remember a time where you used to say, you know what, until you can change your tone, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
Now, you would come in, you would make dinner, you would do all this, that, and the third.
Right, I ain't being mean and nasty, but
I ain't talking to you.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm not arguing with you about that.
I don't argue.
She would talk to me about 9 different things, but that thing she would go silent.
Right, we can sit and have a conversation, but if you're going to rant and rave and you're going to raise your voice, we're not
talking to me like I'm some child. Guys, and what that did for me, because Cherie knows that I'm highly relational, I can't stand that. What you mean you ain't going to, so you ain't going to say nothing?
I'm not talking about that. What would you like for dinner?
Well, I want to talk about the fact that
What would you like for dinner? We're not discussing that. Are you ready to talk about that like a civilized person?
Well, I mean, I'm pissed off.
Okay, well, you need to go get your emotions in check and then come back and we'll have a conversation. But you're not going to yell at me. You're not going to talk to me like I'm a child. We can, when you're ready to sit down and have a civilized conversation about that, we can talk about it.
Well,
because you're obviously upset about it right now. So get your emotions in check, and then we can talk.
y'all see how that go? And that's literally what we had to practice for probably about 5 years when we first got married, because I couldn't figure it out, because the way I grew up, you get loud.
They just yell us.
You know, we called it passion. I ain't mad. I'm just passionate, bruh. That tone is not palatable.
Right. That's fearful.
That's right.
Like you attacking me.
And when you grow up in Southeast DC, that means you about to get.
Don't be attacking me.
You about to catch these hands.
Come out swinging.
All right, now let's get it, guys. We got to get out of here. We got a ton of things going on today. Listen. We're super excited for the opportunity coming up October the 11th and 12th. If you guys want to come to Norfolk, Virginia, if you're in the area, DMV, Richmond, maybe Rocky Mount, Raleigh, just a quick drive. Come on down for the day. If you want to stay overnight, there's a lot of great hotels down in the area. Friday night, we'll be getting together for a social. Saturday, we will have a workshop, and we'll be going hard all day. But we're going to teach and train you guys in ways that I think that will benefit you long after you say I do.
Right. And so for information on that, go to our website, www.thecrcoach.com, where you can get more information on that. Also, just want to let you guys know the early bird rate ends tomorrow.
Yep, there is an early bird rate.
If you want to register and get that special
I'm
discount,
glad you said that. I
please
forgot.
register before close of business tomorrow, midnight
tomorrow.
Because then the rate does go up. So if you are interested in attending, please go ahead and register before that rate increases.
Yep.
Also, want to thank those of you for joining us today. If you are new to our YouTube channel, please subscribe, please. And ring the bell so that you'll get notifications when we go live or when we post new videos. And Instagram, thank you guys for joining us.
Appreciate y'all, Instagram.
Also, if you could go to our YouTube channel.
The link is in the bio.
We'd appreciate it. Once again, our goal is to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So please share this out. Share it out. Invite your friends. Invite your family. Invite your coworkers. Invite your dog.
100%.
Invite anybody to get on and subscribe.
Love it. Guys, we got to run. Here's what we know. If you're going to do anything of significance,
you can't do it by yourself.
At the end of the day, we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon.